Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the We Don't Want podcast. This is the show where two certified dipshits make uncertified takes about your favorite series. We are your hosts. I am Zach, and joining me as always, that thing he does with his mouth. Pretty sure that's what he does to all the ladies back in the South. It's Scotty Westside.
Yeah, listen, man, I don't like to, kiss and tell, but, the ladies love me.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
How can they not?
Dude, hell yeah. That thing you do with your mouth. Dude, hell yeah, dude.
Shit.
I love that this title of the episode, Kissed by Fire, is an innuendo to him kissing her fiery bush, because the carpet definitely matches the drapes.
Kissing her fiery bush? Oh, definitely. I thought you were going to go a completely different direction with that. I thought you were going to talk about how the title of this episode, Kissed by Fire, is the least important thing that happens in this episode.
Right, yes.
I mean, listen, I
mean, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal for John. Maybe not anyone else, but
hold on. It doubles as the Hound thing.
I suppose that's true. There you go. It's a doubler. Yeah, it doubles down big time.
It's a double fisting,
Always double down on the double fisting. Always.
Double down, double fist.
Always double down on double fisting. That's just a.
How you doing, pal?
I am doing amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I know why you're doing amazing.
I think you might know why. We have not recorded in like a week and a half, and I believe last time we talked, I had told you and everyone here that I was going to a Stanley Cup final game, and
you
so
did.
That was amazing. That was a fucking incredible experience that I wouldn't trade for anything. They won. My team, the Avs, won in overtime. It was just...
What a hell of a game for you to watch, too, man.
Maybe the best game of the entire series, like competitive-wise. Like, you always enjoy blowouts when your team is enjoying them, or when your team is doing the blowing out a lot, but this was...
I like when I'm doing the blowing out,
I know
too,
you
know
were
what
going to
I mean?
go there. I fucking knew. I was like, he's not going to be able to resist this.
Can't resist
like,
a good
you
blow.
can't resist a good... God damn it! You keep getting there just a smidge before I can. Like with the blowouts. But yes, it was an extremely competitive game.
That would take a second for me to get.
Yeah. It was so much fun. And since that time, the Stanley Cup final is over. My Avs won.
Hooray!
They're Stanley Cup champions
Avs won.
for the first time in 21 years. So I am over the moon happy. I can't be mad. Even you, I can't be mad at you being like 3 hours late to our recording session. So,
3 hours?
It's
more like a week.
It's actually like a week you were late. So I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. But I'm doing just absolutely fantastic. I spent most of the morning today watching. It was the parade in downtown Denver, the championship parade. I spent a good chunk of the morning watching that. So I'm flying high. I think we got a pretty phenomenal episode to talk about today too. So I'm doing swell. How are you doing, bud?
I'm doing pretty good, man.
Yeah.
I feel like it's always the same thing with me. I'm always like, I'm doing pretty good. But yeah, things are nice. They're chilling. Got a long weekend coming up here for the 4th of July.
Yeah, true.
Celebrating some birthdays. I turned 30.
Oh my God, yes.
Yikes.
How can we not talk about that? You're gonna be 30 in like what, 3 days?
Yeah, I turned 30 on July 3rd. This episode is going to be coming out like
yeah,
probably in August or something, but yeah.
True.
But also you turned like 40.
I turned 47.
A couple days after that.
Yeah, a couple days after that.
Seriously, how old do you turn?
34, I think. I can actually
damn.
never remember. I think it's 34 this year. When you get to be an old ass man like I am, you stop counting.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I feel like I'm getting
Well,
there.
30's a big one. 30's a big one. It wasn't for me. That was maybe the quietest birthday I've ever had in my life, just because of life circumstances and family being busy and stuff like that. So that was kind of a weird one, but I feel like it should be a big one.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway.
Yeah, so we're doing shenanigans this weekend. Last weekend was also my mother-in-law's birthday, so we're all getting together for this weekend for both of ours. We're gonna go to like a meadery and brewery and and distillery. I think it's like all in one. So we're gonna drink a lot of alcohol.
A meadery?
Meadery, yeah.
Mead, mead, not like meat, like man meat. Like
I mean,
a whole buffet of man meat for you on your birthday.
If I show up and there's not a whole buffet of man meat, I will have some questions.
I know, yeah, definitely. You should,
but yeah, man, things are good.
That you should definitely go to a buffet of man meat is what I was gonna say.
That's a normal Friday night.
I guess. And make it an extra special one for your birthday for sure.
But yeah, so hey, some quick housekeeping. We're a few episodes premature of this, but I do want to kind of start the buzz and start the hype. So in hold on, math. How many episodes? When are Sam and M coming up?
Don't fucking look at me. It's episode 29. I know that much.
Yeah,
so
okay.
Like
in a few
2
episodes, we will be joined by our good friends Sam and Emily. If you've been a long time listener of the pod, you guys know Sam and Emily well. We have been on each other's podcast several times. They host the amazing show, Harry Potter and the Half Drunk podcast, and they are coming back to discuss a very hype, non-hype episode here at the end of season 3. So be on the lookout for that.
Because they're also Game of Thrones fans.
They're also huge Game of Thrones fans. If you are
chatting with them.
Right, yes. If you're new to the show, though, you may not be familiar with Sam and Emily if you found us through the Game of Thrones side of the interwebs. Thrones interwebs, but they host a great Harry Potter podcast, and back when we were doing our Harry Potter breakdown run-through, we guested on each other's podcasts several times, and they're a blast, and we're very excited to have them on.
Super fun. Super excited.
If you're not familiar with them, go check them out. Show them some love. They deserve it. And also, Emily just had a baby, so congrats to her.
Congrats.
That's fucking tight.
Big congrats, for sure.
Yeah.
Super excited for that. Always a blast having them on. They're super fun, and I can't wait for that episode, because also it's just... It's a fairly big, important episode, you know.
Kind of a big, important
episode. A few things may happen in it. Speaking of a few things happening in an episode.
Yeah, man.
Today's episode 25, Kiss by Fire, is... I'll just say it's a hell of an episode.
It is, man, dare I say, a top 10? Is it a top 10?
I wasn't gonna, jump the gun and be premature before we go into the recap.
I mean, I'm known for being premature, if you know what I mean.
You are definitely known for being premature, so I'll just jump right in and join you. You know how I love to... Never mind. Anyway.
Join me being premature. Yeah, I know.
I would say this is a short list top 5 contender for me.
Really?
Like, I would have to list episodes specifically and do a full list, but I think this is easily top 10 for me, and a short list, maybe even top 5 contenders. So.
Wow, that's impressive. I feel like we're gonna have to dive into this deep later once we finish the series.
Well, you love going deep.
We do love going deep. I mean, I try.
We try to.
We like the idea
deep.
of it.
Yeah.
It's
we're really good at going shallow.
But I feel like my top 5 might be other than
spectacle
one
episodes?
episode, maybe a little bit. Like I've never. I don't know. No. Because when I think of that, I think of, and although I'm not saying it's not a great episode, because it's definitely in the list, but like when I think of spectacle episodes, I think of like Battle of the Bastards, Hard Home,
Blackwater,
the
Watchers on the Wall.
Yeah, Blackwater. What's the fire one with like the the train. Not the train. It's obviously not a train. It's like the car
the
explosion
baggage
thing.
train.
Yes.
I can't remember the name. Field of Fire. Is that what that was called?
Field of Fire. I don't know. I think that's that first war. That's
I know it is, but I think I can't remember.
I don't think it's called Field of Fire. Whatever. That episode in season 7. So I don't know, because like those don't really make my top 5, but whatever. We'll break that down later.
We'll talk about it more.
This episode fucking rocks.
This episode fucking rules, to say the least. There's a lot to discuss. So much is jam packed into this episode, so this one will probably go a little longer than normal, if I had to guess. But why don't we jump in here and get to it? Why don't you kick us off with the recap here, Bud, on this amazing episode 25, Kissed by Fire?
Yes. Let's do the goddamn thing. So we begin with a bang as the Hound faces Beric Dondarrion in his trial by combat. Lord Beric sets his sword aflame with blood magic, which of course terrifies the Hound. The battle ends when Lord Beric's sword breaks and the Hound slices his body nearly in two. Shit is fucking just hardcore, man.
It goes hard.
It goes hard, bro. Thoros runs to Beric and frantically starts praying as Arya grabs a dagger and tries to kill the Hound herself, screaming at him to burn in hell. Suddenly, Beric's voice says that he will, but not today.
Not today.
Lord Beric has come back from the dead.
Ooh.
Beyond the wall, Tormund, Giantsbane, and the warg Orell question Jon Snow about the Night's Watch and their remaining numbers. Jon claims there are 1,000 men still at Castle Black, despite Tormund's threats. Ygritte takes Jon down into a cave because she wants that hard north real bad.
Yeah,
God, that's
does.
a good joke. Fuck you, Scott.
You like that one, dude?
Yeah. I'm over here doing my reading voice, trying to keep it cool. That's a good joke, Scotty.
Thanks,
What's that hard north? We also find out that Jon is a very giving lover.
Very giving.
Big ups, my guy.
Big ups to Jon Snow.
Ygritte continues to give him shit for having been a maid.
Classic.
Poor Jon.
Classic
R.I.P.,
Ygritte.
Classic. Back in the Riverlands, the Hound is big mad when they're not giving him back his gold when they release him. Wait, hold on. That they're not giving him back his gold when they release him. And Arya is big mad that they're not killing him. Seems about right.
Yeah, everybody's mad. Nobody's happy.
Yes. Everybody's big mad. Gendry tells Arya that he's staying on to Smith for the Brotherhood, and she seems genuinely hurt by this. It's a very sad scene for our girl Arya.
It's tough.
Jaime, Brienne, and their captors arrive at Harrenhal, where Roose Bolton says they're under his protection now and that they'll speak later. Jaime is taken to Qyburn, who is the man that Robb and Talisa saved at the beginning of the season. He was a maester, but the Citadel stripped him of his chains because of his dark experiments. He wants to take Jaime's whole arm off because of the infection, but Jaime threatens to kill him if he does so. Jaime screams loudly.
True to his word.
True to his word. He screams loudly. In King's Landing, Cersei asks, or kind of threatens, Littlefinger to find proof of the Tyrell's treachery and bring it to her. Tyrion asks Lady Olenna to help with the cost of the royal wedding, and after shit-talking him for a while, she agrees. At Riverrun, Lord Karstark and several of his men break into the dungeons and kill the prisoners, Willem and Martin Lannister. Fucking just not even cool, you know?
It's not a good
Little
look.
baby kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Karstark?
Robb sends Lord Karstark to the dungeons and has his men that helped him hanged. Edmure, Catelyn, and Talisa all advise Robb that if he executes Lord Karstark, he will lose the Karstark men. However, Robb cannot abide by Lord Karstark's Jesus, fuck me, I'm having a stroke. Lord Karstark's betrayal and beheads the traitor himself.
I better take over for you, Stronky boy.
Stronky boy, that's me. Yeah, do the thing.
Back at the Brotherhood Cave, Arya has a chat with Thoros and Beric about how they plan to take her to Riverrun to ransom her back to her family. They tell her that the Lord of Light / Thoros has brought Beric back from the dead 6 times now. Arya asks if they could bring a man back without a head just one time, and it absolutely breaks my heart.
Dude.
On Dragonstone, Stannis goes to see his wife Selyse and tells her that he banged Melisandre, but she's totally cool with being cucked for the Lord of Light. Also, Selyse is a real biatch about their daughter Shireen, which is especially bullshit because she is just the sweetest girl.
The sweetest girl.
The sweetest girl. Shireen says she wants to see her friend Davos, and Stannis tells her he's a traitor and to forget him. Back at Harrenhal, Brienne is doing a little rub-a-dub scrub in the tub when a feverish Jaime comes in and joins her. He starts by insulting her and Renly, but then apologizes and says he trusts her. However, she does not return this trust, and Jaime tells her the story of why he broke his vow and killed the Mad King. The Mad King Aerys was obsessed with wildfire and had caches of it all over King's Landing, underneath King's Landing. When Tywin's army was sacking the city, King Aerys ordered that the pyromancer burn the entire city and ordered Jaime to bring him his father's head. Jaime killed the pyromancer and King Aerys and saved the lives of millions in King's Landing. He nearly passes out in the bath at this point, but Brienne saves him. Back on Dragonstone, Shireen sneaks down and visits Davos in the dungeon. She says she doesn't care if he's a traitor, that she's his friend, and then she offers to teach him to read, and it's just the sweetest and kindest relationship with these two. It's the best.
No kidding, dude.
In the east, Ser Jorah and Ser Barristan reminisce about the good old days, and Ser Barristan says he's wasted half his life fighting for bad kings, and just once he wants to fight for someone he believes in. Jorah seems to be worried that Barristan may know of his betrayal of Daenerys, but he doesn't seem to. We are also introduced to the new commander of the Unsullied named Grey Worm. Back at Riverrun, Robb is very distressed that the Karstark men have left, cutting his forces in half. He realizes that his only option is to attack Casterly Rock, the seat of the Lannisters. But he needs more men to replace the Karstarks. He needs Walder Frey of the Twins. Back at King's Landing, Marjorie says she'll persuade Joff to let Sansa marry Loras soon after they're married. A squire named Olivar seduces Sir Loras and gets some secrets out of him in bed. Turns out Olivar works for Littlefinger, and he tells him of the Tyrell plan to marry Sansa. Littlefinger confirms it when Sansa tells him she doesn't want him to take her out of King's Landing anymore. Cersei, of course, tattles on the Tyrells to Tywin. That was a tongue twister. Who tells Tyrion that he will marry Sansa instead. Tyrion protests, and Cersei is delighted until Tywin turns on her and tells her that she will marry Sir Loras. An angry Tywin says his children must stop disgracing the Lannister name and storms out. And that is just a jam-fucking-packed, incredible episode of Game of Thrones.
That is more packed than my butthole on a Friday night.
Oh, true. Well, unlikely and impossible, but true.
You would know.
I would definitely know.
I guess I don't have the angle to quite see how packed you would know.
Yeah.
You would know. Holy
what
shit,
a
man.
Fucking episode. I mean,
dude.
I feel like most other episodes, not of this caliber, the finale would be a fight to the death in a cave where a man is brought back to life. But this episode
starts there.
It fucking starts there because that's how much good shit is packed into this episode. It's like, oh no, yeah, we're just gonna jump straight to this and blow your balls off with a dude coming back from the dead. Yeah, he comes back from the life. It's
man,
unreal.
Being dead is kind of the life, though. If we're being real.
Shall we start there? Shall we start in with the Brotherhood stuff?
Yeah, man, let's just start at the top, dude.
I think that's the only way to do it.
So, look, I don't have a whole lot of notes on this fight other than it is fucking intense.
It's a good fight.
Yeah, it's a great fight.
Yeah.
Love the choreography.
Mm-hmm.
It seems just so... It doesn't seem too pretty, you know? Like, it
it's
seems
very, like raw.
Just... Yeah, raw and gritty. This is a good fucking fight, man.
It's a very solid fight. and like,
And it tips several ways
Yeah.
throughout the fight, and I like that too.
definitely. Like the Hound is like his shield is on fire and his arm at one
It's like
point,
scaring
and
the shit out of him.
he's freaked the fuck out, of course, and then he just goes like full on savage and just literally hacks through Sir Barrick's sword and through half of his body as well. It's the fact that we learn here that there is magic powerful enough in this world for people to be brought back from the dead is like huge. Like I don't think that can be overstated. Like obviously we know they're zombies, so like it's like, oh, we already knew people could come back from the dead, like the ice zombies, but this is entirely different. Barrick is still a thinking, like knowing,
as far as we know,
being, as far as we know. And that is major and will be a major plot line for, you know, a
major plot line
for a good chunk of this show.
Yeah.
And this episode just opens with that. It's unbelievable. Yeah. It's truly unbelievable.
Yeah, you know, that's a good, I've never really thought about it like that until I think the first time you and I actually talked about this. Obviously not on the pod, but you brought up exactly that. Like how good does a fucking episode have to be to start with that?
Yeah.
Turns out, and it doesn't feel like you go to sleep after that. Like it's just, it just moves.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's also, I need to point out, Arya rushing the Hound and screaming "burn in hell" is so fucking badass.
Yeah. I mean, I love how Barrick even acknowledged it. I think it was last episode when the Hound said something to the effect of like, is the little girl the bravest one among you here? And Barrick is like, she might be.
She might
and that it just shows again here, like, girl has no fear. She is ready to kill the Hound. And that's like, all of this would be well enough and good for this whole plot line. But then we get another scene that is probably, in my mind, for me personally, even better than the trial by combat, where, you know, we're getting a little bit more of the nitty gritty of how Thoros brought him back, you know, the first time, and all these times he's been brought back. And there's just so many amazing parts of this scene. It's the way it starts out. Even I had to take a note of this exchange between Arya and Thoros, because it was just so good and so funny to me. She tells him, "I'm a hostage and you're selling me," and he just goes, "Don't think of it that way." And she's like, "But it is that way.
It is that way."
And he goes, "It is, and it isn't." And she's just like, she won't let up. She's like, "Well, more is than isn't, though." And I'm just like, God damn, Arya, you are so good. You're such a cheeky little shit, and I love you so much.
Cheeky little fucker. Yeah, dude. The thing is like, there aren't many characters who just like, who are just so matter of fact.
Yes.
Like, just like, calling that shit how it is.
Calling it how it is, and also like just
not afraid to say
not afraid to say it, but just like her self-awareness of like, this is what you're doing and this is what is happening to me.
Right.
And you know, you can dress it up and say it, you know, the pretty way you all want, but this is some bullshit and this is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So are we gonna go into this to Harrenhal next? Is that like what we're doing?
Real quick before we jump to that, her asking Thoros if she could, if they could bring back a man from the dead, from without a head, not 6 times but just once, shatters my heart.
It is heart-wrenching.
Maisie's delivery of that sequence with you can see there kind of just like tears in her eyes, is hauntingly good. And I have to call that out, because it's like in an episode just jam-packed with so many great scenes, on this rewatch, that one really stood out to me because it was just like her, obviously, like, it probably hasn't been that long, like real time, but like watching her father die kind of sort of in that way is still just,
Right.
she is carrying that weight with her, and it is still, like something she thinks about constantly, and probably what drives a lot of her like hatred towards the Hound and just like her kind of general distrust and like anger in general. So it's like I said, what a fucking line delivery from Maisie.
Yeah, I mean, we are just constantly, Scott, we're just like every single time Maisie has a scene where she gets to display some emotion and like some kind of just like it's actually, let me take a step back. It's not even just like the emotional scenes, like even scenes that like I think are like very character driven. She just constantly is showing up every fucking time, dude.
Yep. It's crazy.
And this is super unfortunate, but like it fucking pains me that she's not doing cool shit right now, like after Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It really fucking pains me, dude.
I agree. Yeah.
She's fantastic.
She's real good.
She really does deserve to be performing at that level
for
like,
sure
all the time.
Do you want to jump straight to Harrenhal next?
I don't know. Well, so hold on. If we're gonna take care of everything in the Batcave, we should talk about like Gendry joining up.
Oh right, yeah. Fuck, I even skipped over that scene, and that scene is also very good.
Dude.
Shit.
It's so good. It's so good.
God damn it.
Yeah. So Gendry says he's gonna be a smith, which we've seen this happen once before at Harrenhal, where he's like, kind of just like, I kind of think I'm just gonna stay in smith.
Right. He has a very realistic view of his place in the world.
Yes.
Like, he's like, it doesn't matter really who I'm smithing for. I'm still smithing.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a part of it that's very much like he kind of just wants a place to be.
Right. Yes.
And I like that.
Yes.
Like we don't get this like overly complex and like deep story for him. So like the subtlety of that I think is enough, and it just makes me like it. I've never disliked Gendry, but it just makes me like him and be like, kind of feel you, dude. Like,
yeah, I think Gendry is just a very simple lad and just kind of, is aware and tells it like it is. And man, this scene like kind of hurt me too, because you don't see this kind of, you see emotion from Arya a lot, but never this kind of, or not often this kind of like vulnerability. Like we saw it with like her in the scene with her and Yoren. But that might have been the last time, maybe a couple with Tywin, but she's like vulnerable, and like this is like, you can tell her walls are down.
She's hurt.
She is hurt by this.
Yes.
She is losing, her friend in her eyes, and she doesn't want to lose anybody else. So.
Right. Yeah.
God damn, what another great moment.
Yeah, dude, this episode is just
this episode is the gift that keeps on giving.
Filled, dude. Yeah, dude. This episode is herpes for sure.
Speaking of, nah, they're fine. They don't have herpes. Jon and Ygritte beyond the wall.
I mean, they could have herpes, man.
Don't you put that evil on them. Don't you put that evil on them, Ricky Bobby.
You don't know.
Good for Jon. I just gotta, way to go, buddy. Way to get her done, as they say. Very generous, giving lover. Ygritte's obviously a big fan. But I love that. Yeah, I love that she just continues to give him shit for like, oh, you were a maid, and that always cracks me up.
Yeah. I love when. Wait, hold on. Is this the scene? Yeah, this is the scene where she like pops up and she's like, that thing you did with your tongue.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I don't know. I just wanted to kiss you there, dude.
Is that what lords do to the ladies in the South? I don't fucking know.
I don't fucking know. I just wanted to kiss you there, dude. Just wanted to kiss it.
And then he asks her like about her other lovers, and she starts to tell him, he's like, oh, he was built like a mammoth. He's like, okay, you know what? Actually, I think I'm good. I don't want to hear about this anymore. Which is just very real and very fun.
Yep.
Their relationship is adorable, and I never want it to end. So anyway.
Well, hey, look, it hasn't ended in real life.
You know what? True. Big true.
Yeah. For those of you guys who are new to Game of Thrones, guys, Kit Harington and what is Ygritte's name?
Rose Leslie. Yeah.
They are married.
Yeah.
They fell in love on the show. They got married after the show. They have a child together.
Least one kid. Yeah.
I think they have one child. I think.
Cool.
Just good for them.
Good stuff. Good for them.
Yeah.
Just two young kids.
They're lovely.
Kiss and fire. You know.
Yeah. Just kiss and fire.
Big shout out.
Okay. Are we? I'm gonna need some help here, man. We're saving Harrenhal for the end.
We have to save it for the end.
Okay.
We have to.
All right. Yeah.
We
okay.
have to.
So then let's
talk about Riverrun.
Okay. Yeah. Let's talk about Riverrun. Do it. Talk about Riverrun, Scott.
This is in a season where poor Rob just cannot catch a break and continues to take some L's. This one really hurts.
It does hurt.
Because he is absolutely trapped. And you can see how much he's feeling that in the later scene when he's talking to Talisa. That you can tell he is feeling absolutely trapped by what's happening.
Yes.
He's just got no good options after what the Karstarks do. I mean, it's just all bad.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, look, my naive first viewing of Game of Thrones, I saw this and I was like, fuck yeah, my guy. Like,
no, it's easy to have that.
You got to do what you got to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? And and I like that. Always liked that Rob never seemed to like back away from that, and also his like mercy that he's given in the past has never felt like it's because he's soft. To me, it's felt like it's because he's just.
Right.
You know, and I like that in a character. It's a little vanilla, and I get that, but I like it, and it's easy for me to stand behind, and it's one of the reasons that I fell in love with Rob. And seeing this scene, or this not just this scene, but kind of all these events play out, is very much like, man, that's a tough break, but like that's my guy. He's doing what he's got to do.
Yeah,
he's doing what he feels is right, and he's like, and he's proud of. Well, not, I don't know that proud's the right word, but like he's confident in it. He's kind of just like, this is what I have to do because this is right, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I like that. But it's not like that.
It's obvious. It's not good. I mean, like I said, he obviously feels very trapped. Caitlin, Edmure, Talisa, they're all just like, dude, like, put him in the dungeon, you know, try and keep it quiet, do whatever you need to do. But in Rob's mind, you know, he is Ned's son. This was cut and dry. This is treason. He was betrayed by Lord Karstark, and he has to execute him. And by the way, what a fucking powerful scene, like in the rain with the music.
Dude,
and just like,
yes, I actually took a note of that. The music swell.
The music swell.
Oh my God,
when
dude.
Rob does not botch the execution like fucking Theon did.
Yeah, that's because Rob's not a bitch.
Because
like
Rob's not a bitch, exactly. But that scene is powerful, and just like you can tell, like obviously, you know, this is Rob takes no joy in this, and he is just like, you know, like the way the camera zooms in, like on his hand as he like basically
he hits him with the Arthur fist.
Yeah,
the mad fist
throws down his sword, and like his hand is just like shaking, and like it's a powerful sequence. And it's you're right. Like, I feel like on first viewing or as an early watcher, it would be easy to be like, you know what? Like, yeah, he did what he had to do. Fuck yeah, Rob. But it's like, this is not good for Rob. And we see that in the later scene where he's standing at the war table and just like lost. You know, he tosses the men away, the little thingies,
the car sark thing.
And
man, so to kind of follow up on that thought, like, yes, I felt like that the first time watching through, and I don't think that has changed per se. Like, I still value and really like that about Rob's character, but I feel like it's almost just there's a light of like sadness and heartache that I feel watching it for him now.
Yes,
because I'm so much more aware of like his situation is just spiraling out of control, and he cannot get a grasp on it, and he's trying so hard to like do what's right and keep it together.
Yes.
And that's the light that I see it in now, and it's heart-wrenching to watch all this shit just like crumble in front of him.
It reminds me of like when he first met Talisa, and he just kind of, poor Rob is like, you know, like he never meant or wanted to be a king, and like she asks him like, well, what are you gonna do, or what kind of king will you be? And he just kind of is like, I don't know, a good king, a just king. And it's just like, you see that here. Rob is just like doing his best, you know, like he's trying to do what he feels is right at all times, but he's just like sinking, you know. It's almost like he's just caught in quicksand, and the more he like tries to do what he thinks is right to get out, it's not going his way. But he's got a plan. You know, he's gonna try and take Castle Rock, but he's got to get them Freys back on his side. So good.
Dude, I feel like I would have tried for like Liza Aaron before the Freys again.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's tried. You know, they don't explicitly state it, and probably as much in the show, but he has sent many birds to Liza Aaron, and she's not budging.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Dragonstone. There's not a ton here, but we do get a couple new character introductions.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah. Selyse and Shireen.
One is kind of a real weird biatch, and one is just the sweetest, most, you know, adorable, loving girl that you could ever ask for.
You know, I have to say too, like I do kind of feel for Selyse though.
I do, until she's like given her daughter undue shit, and then I stop feeling for Selyse.
Like she doesn't feel like a true woman and like worthy because
she hasn't given
Stannis a son, and the only offspring she's given him is sick. So like I understand the resentment. It's still shitty. It's not okay.
No, you're right, and I see where you're coming from.
But yeah, I mean, look, if we're being real, I mean, who cares about Selyse, dude? Shireen is just the light of Dragonstone, man. Like she's just the most charming fucking character ever. I love her to death.
There's not a ton to ever really like Stannis for, to be honest. But I do appreciate him in this moment where he basically is like, she's my daughter and I'm going to see her. Like, I don't care. I want to see my daughter.
Yeah.
Now, Stannis, not probably the best father in the world, but at least far from. But at least in this moment, he's like trying to connect with his daughter, and she's just such the sweetest thing. I love how she's just like, she just wants to read. She's having a good time reading. She loves her books. For those who this is like your first watch, you don't know, Shireen, when she was young, had a condition called grayscale, which is eventually fatal. And Stannis legitimately did. He had maesters from all over the realm, and, you know, all kinds of healers from the east and everything. All these people brought in to try and save her life, and eventually it was saved. But she's got like the scars, the remaining grayscale on the side of her face.
So she is no longer sick.
Right.
She's
no longer sick, is what I was getting at.
One of the, if not the only people to ever be quote cured of grayscale.
Correct. It's considered like basically uncurable, but
yeah,
was something along the line of the many things Stannis tried did at least stop the disease. And despite all this, despite what she's gone through, like I said, she's just happy as all can be. I love her and Davos's relationship when she goes down to see him. And he's trying to tell her, like, dude, you need to get out of here. Like, listen, you can't be here. And she just won't even let him get a word in. She's just like, dude, this is about Prince Aemon, and he's the Dragon Knight, and this and this and that. It's just the sweetest thing.
The whole bit about, like, what are they gonna do? Lock us up in cells?
Oh my God, yes.
Oh, yes, dude, she is the best, man. I love her so much.
Even Davos, when she says that, Davos, he just like cracks the tiniest of smiles. He's like, all right.
All right. Teach me how to read.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking shit. Yeah, man, she's great. Let's talk about the East real quick.
Yeah, not a lot here, but.
Not a lot, but I'm gonna come out and say this. I'm still enjoying Dany's little thing that's going on in the East.
This is honestly more of a Jorah and Ser Barristan scene.
Yeah, well, right. I guess what I'm saying is, like, the East is not boring me the way that it normally does.
I see what you're saying.
I enjoy the Barristan Jorah stuff. Even this, like, this simple Dany having the Unsullied kind of pick their leader. The whole name thing too, I thought was like a little corny, but like well intentioned.
Yeah.
I like it, the Grey Worm thing.
It's a a powerful little sequence where he's like, nah, that's lucky. That's my lucky name.
It's kind of a lot of like weird words because of the way that they speak. So to paraphrase for anybody who didn't catch it, she told them that they're allowed to choose their own name because Grey Worm is like a shitty name.
Yeah.
Basically, she's like, yo, your name sucks. Pick a better name. And Grey Worm was like, the name that I had when I was a child is a bad name because that's the name I was taken as a slave as. But the name Grey Worm is a good name because that's the name I had when Daenerys Stormborn freed us.
Right.
Which is like, that's cool, man. Like, yeah. I like that. I like that cornball fucking vanilla shit like that. So I'm about it. And I'm liking, like, definitely my first watch through, I'm liking what Daenerys is doing right now.
Sure.
And then Jorah and Barristan, the more times I watch, the more times I don't like their relationship.
What do you mean?
Like, they're kind of like constantly having a little pissing contest, but not in like not in like a cheeky way, more in just like a hey, I'm better than you way.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm gonna be a dick to you way.
Yeah,
it's not like the same way that like Varys and Littlefinger like interact.
Right, or not like Jaime and Brienne, like they're just like, they kind of don't like really like each other.
No, definitely not. And they just kind of snip at each other about like the dumbest things.
And I don't love it. I don't love it. I like both characters individually, but I don't think I like them together.
I do kind of appreciate Jorah like trying to, he's not the subtlest of mans, but he's feeling out like, does this guy know that I was selling Daenerys' secrets to Robert Baratheon? Kind of need to figure this out. And he seems safe for now because Barristan has no clue. He wasn't
that's a good point that you're bringing up. And again, just so that we have like value to bring to you guys who are listening, to people who are more casual watchers, if you didn't remember that, because I know I did not remember that my first time watching through. That is Jorah, like that's how Jorah and Dany got linked up. Like he was spying on her for King Bobby B.
Right. And it is still
passing information.
is still a big secret that he is holding on to for now.
Yes. Yes. So nobody really knows. Well, I mean, some people know, but yeah, that's a big deal. Otherwise, not really like a whole lot. To talk about.
Let's hit King's Landing. The tier in almost.
Hold on, Scotty. I'm losing you on my earbuds. Hold on 1 second, buddy.
Okay.
Dude, my camera is. Can you tell that my camera is so lopsided?
No, I can't tell at all. What are you talking about?
I'll just sit like.
Dude, half of my fucking time as we spend doing these episodes is me like looking at your camera like being fucked up in some way.
Well.
Let's go to King's Landing. In almost any other episode, the Tyrion and Lady Olenna scene would be like the highlight of the episode, but in this one it's like barely a footnote.
Right.
Like basically Tyrion is just like, hey, I need your help with the cost of this royal wedding, and she just gives him all the shit. Olenna, Tyrion cannot even hope to like compete with her. She's on some next level shit.
And then she's like, okay, yeah.
And then she's like, okay, yeah, fine, we'll do it. Is it fine? Cool. Are we good? Good. I'm getting the fuck out of here. This is a waste of my damn time. I thought, doesn't she even say to him like, come on, Lord Tyrion, I heard you were clever. Like, come on. She's basically like trying to goad him into like giving her some witty banter back. And
I mean, it's like she's got it. Like she gets off on this shit.
Oh, definitely. And then when he can't, when he doesn't, when he's like too focused on getting this money, she's like, fine, what the fuck ever, I'm out of here. Give me my dates.
Like, dude, you're boring. I'm out, dude.
Yeah, really, yeah. She was like a browbeaten bookkeeper at some point or something like that. It's like I said, in most episodes,
this scene's pretty mid for this episode.
It's pretty mid for this episode. It's that's what I'm saying. It's nuts.
Yeah.
But the final scene in the episode that we're going to talk about now is not a mid scene. It's a great scene. Because of course it is. It's fucking Tywin being a boss. And we find out that obviously like Cersei tattles the whole Tyrell plot, and Tywin's solution to this is to marry off Sansa before the Tyrells can marry her. And he's like, oh, here you go, Tyrion. Boom, this is more than you deserve. And Tyrion is not pleased with this.
Dude, like, Tywin is such a fucking dick, dude.
Yes.
He is so fucking mean, dude.
Honestly, though, in his mind, this should be, like, the greatest thing ever.
This is trivial. This is
a huge... He's thinking, like, this is way better than Tyrion deserves. Like, this is like a huge gift in his mind from him to Tyrion.
I don't think he's doing it as a gift, though. He's doing it as a necessity.
He's doing it
like,
you as a necessity. Right, exactly. But yes, poor Tyrion, not a fan of this. Probably mostly because, as he brings up, he had a wife and no longer has a wife because of the man sitting across from him, because of Tywin. And man, that exchange between the two of them, I'm gonna continue to suck the acting dick here. Like, that exchange when Tyrion goes, I had a wife, or do you not remember? And Tywin just like stares him down for a moment and then just growls out a only too well. And it's just like, only Charles Dance could have delivered that line with that kind of gravity, and that exchange between them is unbelievable.
It's phenomenal. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I'm gonna be honest though, man. I am just holding out until we get to talk about this scene.
Jonesing for the hair. Okay. If you don't have anything else to say about King's Landing,
it's a good scene. It's a good scene.
Okay,
that's what I have to say about it.
It is a great scene.
Can we just talk about the main event, please?
Let's get to the main event.
All right, everybody at home.
Yes, regale us here, Zach.
If you're
Set the scene.
if you're in your car, if you're listening at home, you're watching on the YouTubes, um, there's not a lot of scenes that I would say this about, but you need to go and rewatch this entire scene from start to finish, a couple times.
We are speaking, of course, of the bath scene.
We're talking about the bath scene. And honestly, you could even watch Jamie Kyburn,
Yeah. Also
and then
very
bath
good.
scene,
Yeah.
because Jamie Kyburn, I think, is an excellent like appetizer for this main event fucking scene.
Yeah.
This is going in the basket of top scenes of the
easily.
show without question.
Yes.
This might be the best scene in the entire series.
Again, it is certainly on my short list for like
This
top
might
5.
be the best scene in the entire series.
It might
Scott.
be. You and I both
Holy fuck, dude,
adore
this is
the
a
scene.
hell of a goddamn scene. So let's okay. Let's actually talk about this. Let's set the stage here. So
Yeah.
Jamie is broken to all hell, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we know this. Jamie's always lived a very lavish life because he has been, he's the son of Tywin Lannister. He's rich. He's good looking. One of the best swordsmen in the entire Seven Kingdoms.
Had everything going for him.
Everything going for him. Kingsguard. I mean, this dude is just a living legend, truly, to many people. And he has been just completely shit on, in a sense. During the sack of King's Landing, he, as everybody knows, earned his title, the Kingslayer.
Yeah. Unfortunately for him, that legend is skewed in a now extremely negative light.
Yes. It is an insult when they call him Kingslayer.
Yes.
And he has worn that. He's allowed it to continue. He's not said anything. I do not think that Jamie is a perfect person, much like our conversations about Snape.
Right.
Definitely. He is an extremely complex and bad character. Makes lots of bad decisions. But if you hadn't already started feeling for this man during this season, this was the bombshell. I mean, this was my bombshell.
Yeah. I mean,
I liked him in a cheeky way, in like a fun way.
Right.
Not in like an emotionally heavy substance, and like there's just so much more to him.
Yeah.
And I was blown away, and I rewatched this several times, and I still rewatch it. So
yeah.
I haven't shut up. Why don't you go ahead and
you're fine. It's tough. I know it's tough because we both feel so passionately about the scene just to even describe it. But I just want to harken back to like the scene where we got our introduction to Tywin. I think was like the first clue of what was bubbling under the surface with Jamie, because he presents basically a very self-assured, arrogant, facade.
Right.
To almost everyone. And Tywin, made the comment or asked him the question, like, doesn't it bother you when they whisper, like, Kingslayer behind your back? Something to that effect. And Jamie, admits to him, of course it bothers me. And just that little peek, that was our first, like, tiny little peek.
Yeah, little peek behind the curtain.
Peek behind the curtain of Jamie. And now here in this scene, the curtain is just thrown wide.
Yeah.
And I like what you said earlier about like how at this point Jamie is broken, both physically, mentally, spiritually, whatever you want to say. And he is just so fed up with the Kingslayer moniker, no one trusting him. And as he basically states to Brienne, it's like, you know, why, of course you don't trust me. What, it always comes back to Ares. I think he says something to that effect. It always comes back to Ares, or maybe I'm thinking of the book again, but basically everyone that ever meets him is going to have a built-in mistrust of Jaime because
he's an oath. He's a quote, oath breaker.
He's an oath breaker. He broke his vow as a member of the King's Guard. He killed his king, and obviously that has weighed heavily on him for, I can't remember how long it's been, 15-ish years, I believe. And now here he is at like one of the lowest points in his life, and he lets it all.
Probably the lowest point in his life.
Probably the lowest point in his life, and he lets it, he lets this whole story out.
And I before we recap this actual story, I know this is a lot of buildup, and,
right.
and hopefully you guys are feeling as passionate about the scene as we are, but we have to talk about how he came to even open this up, and I think a lot of it has to do with Brienne. And I have been somewhat negative on Brienne because I do think that she is a very vanilla character. I think that she's kind of annoyingly monotone. She, whatever. I don't have to go into it that much, but it is just, I feel like people in life need that person who is that different than you. To offer a new perspective on things. And I think with the right mindset or need or whatever place you are in life, when you have somebody like that who offers you a different perspective on things and who can kind of, it's funny because it's not even forced by her part. She gives him this new perspective and this new respect because of just being who she is.
Yeah.
Not because she wants to change him.
Right.
Which I think speaks volumes to her character. I think that he is just so in love with her truth and like her not being ashamed of who she is. Right? Like that idea.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I feel like aside from him being in this broken spot where he needs to get this stuff off of her chest, like who better to do it than the person who is
That's
the
what
most
I think.
noble and like the most, oath, like sworn fucking person. Like this is her fucking lifeblood, is to swear an oath. Like,
exactly. Yeah, I think that's more of what it is like, he's in this incredibly broken place. He like barely cares, whether he lives or dies at this point. Although he's over that a little bit, and she helped him get to that point, when she made him eat in the last episode. But let's kind of give the quick recap of basically. So what is unknown to everyone that calls Jaime Lannister Kingslayer and Oathbreaker and all these things is that Mad King Aerys was going to destroy King's Landing. Yeah. He was going to kill everyone in King's Landing. He has caches of wildfire, which we've seen what that shit can do in Blackwater.
And we've heard several times that he was kind of batshit crazy. That he was a piece of shit. And we know that he was kind of a torturous motherfucker.
Right.
But I don't think that we've ever really, unless you're a book reader, of course, the show hasn't really given us too much about like to what extent his madness went.
Right.
And this is our first glimpse of that.
Yeah. And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
So yeah, basically when Lord Tywin comes into the city at the end of the rebellion and basically starts to sack King's Landing.
Wait, hold on. Wait, I'm sorry. I need to cut you off.
Sure. Because
I think this is also important. Tywin came saying that he's going to protect them.
Tywin was basically,
and Jaime told the king, do not let him in. Yeah. He's going to sack the city.
Yeah.
He, quote, betrayed his father to keep his oath as a Kingsguard.
That is an excellent point, Zach. Thank you for,
Yeah, it's just unbelievable, man. This guy is so complex.
And again, this comes back to, Jesus, it's so good. It comes back to what he told Catelyn in the cell, where he's like, so many vows, they make you swear and swear. Like, what I think he even says verbatim, like, or you know, keep honor your father and protect your king and all this stuff. And I think he says, what if your father hates the king? Or, you know, what if your king tells you to murder the innocent? And he's basically like, in less words, saying exactly what he's already gone through.
Yeah.
Mad King Ares told him, bring me the head of your father. And also, I'm gonna kill all the innocents in the city.
He turned to his pyromancer and said, burn them all.
Burn them all.
Which, to finish your thought, which I interrupted, all of King's Landing.
Yes.
Under the Sept, under the Red Keep, in Flea Bottom.
Everywhere.
In farms, in houses, in stables. I'm sorry, not farms. In stables. Caches of wildfire are stored, and he was instructing his pyromancer the order to go burn the entire city to the ground. So
killing millions in the process.
Yeah. So Jaime killed the pyromancer, and while King Ares had his back turned, he stabbed him in the back. And he is just broken about it. You know, he's like, I did what I felt was right because I was protecting the innocent.
To have that stigma for so long for doing, like, I would argue, a pretty objectively good thing. He saved millions of lives and is hated for it.
Yeah.
That has got to wear on you. And I love the fact that Brienne is just, you know, he says, that's where Lord Eddard found me, with Ares' blood on my blade, basically. And she's like, why didn't you tell him? Why didn't you tell Lord Stark? And by the way, we haven't gotten into this much yet, and I'm sure we'll do more, but this is Nikolai Coster-Waldau's, like, watershed moment of the series, like, undoubtedly in my mind. Like, his performance and his delivery of this sequence
it's unbelievable.
It's
unmatched. I don't know that anybody else's best performance is as weighted as this.
You might be right. It's real good. But he tells her, like, do you think that the honorable Ned Stark wanted to hear my side of the story? Like, it basically said, like, Ned judged him immediately. He judged him guilty without, you know, hearing anyone else's or Jaime's side of the story. And
by what right?
Yes.
Does the wolf judge the lion?
I got chills just you say that, because I think of how he delivers it in that scene, and it's probably my favorite line in the entire series. It's an unbelievable scene. We're spending a ton of time on this, and I apologize to everyone else is out there like, whatever. But this scene is unbelievable, and it's such a big, like, reveal. Even, like, let's get away from the fact that it's an unbelievable performance and it goes huge into, like, Jaime's character and who he is. Like, this is just a big reveal in general.
Yeah.
That Mad King Ares was willing to murder millions rather than lose, you know, his kingship. It's just masterfully executed.
Yeah.
It's masterfully written.
And to just kind of put the cherry on top, he faints or passes out to some degree. And when Brienne catches him, she yells the Kingslayer. And he tells her, Jaime. My name is Jaime. And it really is unbelievable. I mean, guys, look, there are a lot of fantastic scenes in this show, but if this is a scene that you let, like, just kind of play like while you're, on your phone or you're doing dishes or whatever when is on. Like just give this like section of this episode the time to like sit, because if you followed us for this long, you have to have some level of appreciation of like, acting performances and how things are shot. I mean, this is peak material right here. I mean, it's beautifully done.
If I hadn't already also like, definitely knew I loved Jamie before this, but I'm pretty sure it was this exact moment where I was like, okay, he's my absolute favorite character in the show. Because before it might have been Tywin, it might have been Tyrion, it might have been, Ned or Jon, even, whoever else, but like this I think is what clinched it. And I feel like if you can watch this scene, even if you didn't love or like Jamie before, if you can watch this scene and not at the very least just appreciate the complexity of the character and like how interestingly he's written, like I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. So,
you're watching the wrong show then, man.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I mean, look,
probably.
That's go watch something else, because it's just that's what this is about, man. That is excellent character and story writing, and that's got to be why you're watching, why you're reading, is to experience that. So
agreed.
Really, really hope that you guys enjoyed that, or you can find new enjoyment in that after our conversation. Speaking of that, before we go into, wait, are we done on the episode recap?
I think so. What a fucking unbelievable episode! Like, holy shit.
Before we hop into our Who Be Thrown In segment, I do want to share, kind of in the same vein of this, a message from a listener. And we get lots of messages from you guys. I flip them over to Scott because Scott doesn't really use the socials, but occasionally we get something like this, and it makes me be like, I got to talk about this. I love this, So a listener, Jordan Zinke, I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Sorry if I'm not, Jordan. She writes us, and she says, "Hey, been listening to the new hold on, I'm sorry, Jesus.
You okay there, bud?
This has got to be a typo or something." She's saying, paraphrasing here, that she's been listening and rewatching Game of Thrones. First of all, I'm absolutely loving it, dying laughing every single time. This is only my second time watching the show all the way through, and because of you guys, I'm definitely picking up on so much more this time than the first time I watched the show. Also, I have to say that the first time watching it, I was a huge fan of Dany, and I was definitely one of those people who, when she made the turn in the last season, was like, what the hell, this came out of nowhere. But rewatching and looking more critically at her character, I definitely think that they laid the seeds about her being a prime candidate to go, the way of her father. Sorry for getting a little ahead, obviously, but we've talked about this before. So, just wanted to let you guys know that I'm now on the Dany is annoying and a petulant child train. But I do have to say that later, when she's just wiping out evil dudes with her dragons, it's still fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see those scenes.
You just wanted to read that to like jerk us off and like how cool we are.
No. Like, I think one of my favorite types of messages that we get are ones where we offer a new perspective on something.
Sure.
And I like that shit, man. I like being able to share insight where we have it, or have insight shared with me if I'm lacking something,
Sure.
I just like that kind of shit, and that was just really cool for Jordan to reach out and say that. So thanks for reaching out, guys.
Hell yeah. Real quick before we jump into Who Be Thrown In, I missed a couple great quotes that I just want to call out real quick from this.
Okay.
The Qyburn Jamie scene, which we briefly touched on, which is amazing, is where Qyburn is like, "There will be pain," and Jamie just goes, "I'll scream." Quite a bit of pain. I'll scream loudly.
Dude, yes.
It's so good.
Also, I can't tell you how touched I am for your concern for my welfare.
You're getting better at the old Littlefinger.
Dude.
Speaking of, that was my other one that I had to bring up. Because Cersei says, basically when she's like, hey, the Tyrells are up to something. And he's basically like, well, why don't you tell Tywin? And she says, my father is a practical man. He always appreciates facts. And Littlefinger hits her with myself, I've always found them a hindrance. And I'm like, you fucking creep. I love you.
Dude, I hate him, man.
Those were the last couple quotes I had to call out that I had written down in my notes. Let us jump into who be thrown in for this week.
Who be thrown in?
I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be fucking impossible.
I think it's going to be easier than you think.
Okay, if you say so. Where we last left off, just to recap for last week, Daenerys had taken the top spot. By the way, I checked the stats. I looked at the stats. I don't have the full stats here today with me, but Tywin was on, I think it was either a 5 or a 6 week streak of #1 until Daenerys and actually
until last
Olenna,
episode.
Yeah, until last
Unseated his
episode.
ass.
When he got unseated. So big shouts to Tywin.
And big shouts to Danny and Olenna for being able to do that.
This is actually Danny's first ever #1. I also couldn't help but notice, which I was like, wow, is it really? Are we that big of Daenerys haters? Holy shit.
Yeah.
But anyway, Daenerys #1, Olenna with just a fucking stunning episode at #2 that pushed Tywin down to his #3. And he had a good scene in it. It's incredible. Marjorie was at #4 and Lord Varys was at #5. I think pretty easily Marjorie can come off. She has one very quick scene, but it's not a lot. Varys can come off.
Yes.
Okay.
Can we just get this out of the way? Jamie's taking the top spot.
Jamie's definitely coming on the list.
No, he's taking spot #1.
By the way, if I just want to take another quick second to say why this is one of the greatest episodes ever. Zero Theon. Almost no Daenerys. This episode just has literally everything going for it. Just literally everything going for it. Like,
but you're not wrong though. I mean,
lot of good Arya, a lot of good Tywin and Tyrion, a lot of good Jamie, a good battle sequence. This episode just has it all. No Theon. This episode is just incredible. The Queen of Thorns, Lady Olenna can come down, I think. I don't think she's gonna make it. Daenerys, is she really gonna make the list here? Maybe you're right. Maybe this won't be as hard as I thought.
Yeah, probably not. Not that her position has changed much, or like gone down, but she just wasn't really in the episode as much. Big
one I say has to make the list is my boy Jon Snow.
Oh yeah, dude.
Jon Snow has to fucking make the list. Generous lover. Getting it in with Ygritte. Good for fucking him. You know what? I think Ygritte should probably make the list too.
I don't know.
She got that Lord's kiss, man. She got that kiss by fire.
She did get that Lordy kiss.
Let's see here. Where is Ygritte?
Okay, so I would like to I would like for us to consider either Beric or Thoros.
Yes, I was thinking that. What about the Hound? He won his trial by combat and has been released too.
I mean, that's fair.
I think he needs to be in consideration. Do I have Beric or Thoros?
You probably don't.
Yeah, why don't you do it?
You've already done it, but you botched it.
Well, we can cut that.
Yeah, friendly reminder, guys. Go hit up Sam and Emily at Harry Potter and the Half Drunk Podcast. I'm gonna put some links for their show and their socials in this episode and the episodes leading up to when they join us to talk about the infamous penultimate episode to season 3. Which, if you've watched the show before, you know what we're talking about. And also, if you're not already hanging out with us on Twitter and Instagram, you can do that at We Don't Want a Pod. We do have a Discord where we talk some shit with y'all. If you would like the link for that. I have realized, by the way, that the join link only lasts for 7 days. So if you would like to join the Discord, which we'd love to have you guys in there, hit us up on one of the social medias, DM us, and we'll send you an invite link so you can hop in and talk some shit. We would love it if you guys hung out. It's not just Game of Thrones chat in there, by the way. We've got some Harry Potter chat going on and talking about the show. So do that whole thing. Scott, are you fucking ready, my guy?
No, not even close.
Oh my god. Scott, you know what I did?
What did you do, buddy?
You're gonna be mad at me.
I usually am.
So you sent us that really like nice photo of you and your brother at the
At
the hockey
I
game.
sent you that, sure.
Oh, you sent it to me, right? Okay. I may have zoomed in on your face and cropped in because it's a very funny face that you have. And that may or may not end up on today's episode.
I fucking hate you a lot. That's just uncalled for. Don't ruin an amazing episode with my dumb face.
I didn't. I cropped it immediately when you sent it, and I was like, that would be fucked up because you're really enjoying your night. I'm not gonna send it back to you.
By the way, I literally just labeled Barrick as Thoros in my fucking thing here.
Dude,
I am
top-notch production,
mess. Man. I am a fucking mess. But this is all your fault. Is what I'm gonna go ahead and say. Okay, I am ready. We'll fix the who's who between Barrick and Thoros later. Okay, so Daenerys is not gonna make the list, right? I think we.
I don't think so.
I think we can agree on that.
Yeah.
Tywin stays for sure.
Who do you got down there in the bottom?
That is Thoros, Ygritte, and the Hound.
Oh, Ygritte.
So Jaime is obviously making the list, and I think he's obviously staying at 1.
Yeah.
Tywin is making the list, and I think Jon has to make the list. So that leaves us 2 spots for
Lord Karstark.
Lord Karstark definitely needs to make the list. That leaves us with 2 spots for the Hound, Ygritte, Thoros, and Barrick. Are we forgetting? Oh, man, Arya has a really good episode too.
She does have a great episode, actually.
Shit.
Do we throw a bone to Brienne?
I thought of Brienne, but I don't.
She doesn't really do enough.
She doesn't do enough. She's the foil.
She stands up and shows her tits.
She doesn't actually show her tits. She shows her
no,
ass.
well, she shows Jaime her tits.
She's more just the foil for right. Jaime, and she does a good job. I think she does a very good job in this sequence, but not compared to some of these others.
Sure. What is her? Gwendolyn Christie, right?
Even Littlefinger kind of. So, man, see, I told you this is tough. There's a lot of people in any normal week I would
let's
fight
be real,
for.
Man, Littlefinger.
All right, fine.
Yeah, no, and I think only one of Thoros or Barrick makes the list.
I agree, and I think it should be Barrick.
Yeah, because Thoros can't do this with anybody.
He's the one that actually comes back from the dead, and I think overall he has probably the slightly better episode, but I think Thoros will get his. So let's take which Thoros is he? Thoros off. Ah, shit. I did do the wrong one. Okay, there we go. That leaves us with 1 spot for Ygritte, Arya, and the Hound. I think the Hound's time will come. Even though this is like a big moment for him, it's not that big. He also doesn't get his gold back. I don't think he makes it.
I don't think he makes it either.
Okay.
I also don't love Ygritte. I feel like one of them Egret's had sex before. This is
Yeah.
John finally got it.
But she's never had the Lord's kiss before.
I mean, yes, but come on. Look at our other candidates, man.
Arya has. If Arya didn't have such a stunningly good episode, I would fight you harder. But I think it has to go to Arya.
Yeah.
Are we forgetting anyone? Davos and Shireen, but not compared to these others. I think that's it. I think that's it. Tyrion is kind of he takes kind of a big L at the end of this episode. He's good. I always love Tyrion, but I think this is it. How do we want to order them? Are you thinking Tywin at 2?
Tywin at second, yeah.
I agree. I think then it's Jon at 3.
Really?
It's a big W from my boy Jon. It's a big W.
I don't know that I feel that strongly about it, but if you feel that strong about it, I'll allow it.
I feel pretty strongly about it, and I don't feel as strongly about. Like, I'm glad they're both on the list, but I don't feel as strongly about Arya.
I think it stays like that. I think Beric at 4, Arya at 5.
Okay. I can get down with that. So that would leave us, for the audio listeners, with Jaime Lannister with just a fucking unreal sequence at number 1. Tywin with a phenomenal bit at the end, but is just completely overshadowed for once in this episode. At 2, Jon, I mean, what do we need to say? He's a giving lover. He's, Lord Snow getting it in the nice. By the way, sick, like, fucking hot springs. Like, that place seems rad.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, let's
I'm trying to go get
cave.
the Lord's kiss over in those hot springs too.
Yeah, big time. Jon Snow at 3, Beric Dondarrion, the recently 6-time, what's the word I'm looking for? Brought back to life guy.
Resurrected.
Resurrected, thank you, Jesus. Resurrected man at number 4, and Arya, which is I think this is just Maisie Williams is
what a
phenomenal
showcase
young actress
for her her acting ability, man. She is just
the Gendry scene.
She I have to say, man, I've been a very hard stand for Tywin, like as far as like favorite characters, like Tywin, Jaime, Tyrion.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like after this watch through, I mean, we need to get through season 5.
She's moving up. Yeah, she's moving up the list. I will say, especially in these early seasons.
Arya is truly climbing.
She
fast.
is. Boy, does she still have some really good stuff coming this season too. Holy shit.
You're not even joking a little bit. Like, it is insane, dude.
Yeah. Big things coming from our girl. That is who be thrown in. Once again, that is Jaime at 1, Tywin at 2, Jon Snow at 3. I'm always happy to see him get some love. Beric at number 4, and Arya at number 5. Yeah, I didn't even mean to do that. That is who be thrown in for this week. What a fucking episode.
What an episode, man.
All the way around. Just
oh my fucking Lord.
Just an absolute banger.
Dude, I don't even want to watch the rest of Game of Thrones. I just want to rewatch that episode. Guys, so look, I said it like 5 times. Please rewatch this episode.
This episode's just
it is fucking amazing, dude.
I was thinking, like, in any other episode, that Robb execution, like beheading sequence, would be like the most powerful scene in the episode. But it's like maybe top 5 in this episode.
Yeah, it's absurd.
It's crazy.
Scotty, over the weekend, he sent me a message about the Ringers ranking of Game of Thrones episodes.
Want to get into that now?
Well, I think just a little taste, little teaser. We've got some thoughts And
I do have some thoughts.
once we wrap this baby up, I think we might have to give that our the old college try.
Yeah.
And
Might have to
I'm bringing it
roast
up
the
now
ringer
because
a
this
bit,
episode
too.
is probably going to be in the top 5.
Yeah. If you don't think this episode is anything special, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it has the spectacle aspect, and it has what I truly love the most, which is the character moments, and it has those in absolute spades. So, and it's also got political maneuvering. It's got literally everything.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. What a bang.
All right, I'm done jerking this episode off.
I'm
not
but
done
I'll
jerking
let it
you
go.
off.
Oh
So
boy.
let's go ahead and wrap this baby up so you and I can continue. Guys, we appreciate the fuck out of you guys for listening or watching. As always, if you're new to the YouTube channel and you were just finding us from Game of Thrones, please know that we have dissected the Harry Potter books. Scotty's first time ever reading them, so if you're a fan and you want to see the perspective of somebody experiencing for the first time, you can find that on
First time
wherever you listen to your podcast, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, you name it, all those fucking places. Check that out. There's also we've recapped One Piece. We've gone through the Lord of the Rings movies, the Wheel of Time series. Yikes. And just a whole bunch of cool shit that is not living on the YouTube space. So if you are new here on YouTube, please consider subscribing or following the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. You can check out all that other fun stuff.
A lot of good content out there.
Yeah, we got the content. We got the content out there.
Got it in spades,
like, comment,
baby.
subscribe, all that fun YouTube shit, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
So awkward.